How you doing, everybody? This is Drakbolt here to watch another Dune 2: The Golden Path game. It's going to be a network game between Puxii and Lunaticman. This was done on the 18th, so 5 days ago. Today is Saturday night. I am currently alone and feel like vegetating and still using my voice, so that means more Dune 2: The Golden Path casting. This is another re-record. This is a case where I recorded a game at that time visually, but I didn't have a quiet room, so I couldn't cast it. So here I am. I'm gonna cast this game. Gonna copy some audio here and then reintegrate it into the video later. So I don't have control over the screen, but I am going to try and fill your ears with information on what is going on. So let's see what's going on. Lunaticman is Ordos, and whoever the other guy and Puxii is the Atreides. So that's great. I don't even remember who's playing. All right. So Lunaticman is starting off here, and Puxii is starting off in the typical Atreides fashion. Puxii is deploying. It looks like he's choosing to deploy right at the edge of the board, which is always advised against because that is a perfect way to get killed by mercenary attacks. And that is actually the main reason that I put mercenary attacks in this game, is to stop people from believing that the edge of the board is some kind of imaginary protection zone. You know, like automatically if you deploy in a corner, you don't even have to worry about two additional directions of attack. And I hated that idea. So and I wanted to put mercenaries in the game somehow. So that's why they came in. And thankfully, every once in a while, I get to see somebody just get mauled by mercenary attacks deep inside their base. So anyway, sorry about the quality of the video. It may not be perfect. I don't know how it's going to turn out. Looks like Lunaticman, at least, is doing a fair amount of scouting, and that's good. And here I am like a moron asking in chat which player is which, but oh well. Lunaticman already send a chat out before, and his text was green, so I should have known right away he was Ordos, and Puxii is Atreides. So Puxii is starting off with 4, maybe 5, or yeah, it looks like 5 refineries. Lunaticman already sending in 1 flak trike to do a little scouting. That's good, and hopefully he retreats that before it gets killed. We shall see. Infantry are taking some shots on it. It is continuing to scout out a little bit more. It's probably going to get dropped by a tank any second. No, it gets away. Excellent. So, Lunaticman has a nice little scout of the enemy's base. He's probably a little surprised to see 5 refineries up already, while he himself, it looks like, only has 2. Yep, only 2. And so Lunaticman getting a bit of a slow start here. I don't know much about him as a player. I think he might be kind of new to this. Puxii is definitely a veteran. He's been around in this project for a long time. He's a big fan of StarCraft 2 and some other things, and he tries to play a very heavy macro game, usually very late game builds. Which makes him vulnerable to rushing and stuff like that. But he's he can be very strong building up large economies. So he is going a pretty standard build out, getting 6 refineries out, and I'm willing to bet his next building is going to be a high-tech factory. Lunaticman doing some more scouting, which is good. He's definitely exploring some territory there and going to be able to see what his opponent is doing, which is always just a fantastic idea. And he is sending a squad of infantry in to attack a tank. And not entirely sure why, but there they are. The tank and the quad should easily dispatch them. And here comes another quad to try to help, maybe. Probably just going to get shot by a couple of cannon shells, but it retreats. That's good. There goes the other infantryman, and here comes the tank just kind of randomly engaging in combat. I have no idea what's going on here. So here comes the quad, kind of sneaking by everybody and deciding to go shoot some infantry. That's all right. And he's once again retreating. So a whole lot of skirmishing going on here. A lot of gun counting. I think that's the best way to put it. Going on here. Oh, a little harvester harassment. There you go. So Lunaticman is paying attention to his people, and he's trying to make something good happen. So he's plugging that harvester a few times for some hit points. You may notice I got some music on in the background. I happen to like ambient music, and since this is a re-record of a game, you're not going to hear any game sounds, so I just thought I'd throw some music in the background. I'm not even sure if you'll be able to hear it or discern it, or, if it annoys the hell out of you, then feel free to comment, and maybe I will listen to music like that again, and maybe I won't. So, alright, looks like a worm is about to eat a harvester if it doesn't get taken off. And somebody got redirected there, and it didn't work. So, Puxii lost a couple of units, a tank and a harvester. It's always a good time. Let's see what he's planning on doing here. He could probably use another carryall, yeah, because he's got some pretty far-ranging harvesting operations in different directions. So that's going to increase the amount of time it'll take a carryall to make it to a harvester, to make sure they get away from a worm. And here comes that quad back. He really wants a piece of action here. He's not satisfied with all the retreating, and he may get eaten here. No, he does not get eaten. And he gets shot a couple of times, and he's dead, finally. So, Puxii loses another unit due to lack of micromanaging. Now, Lunaticman definitely still working very slow, and looks to me like Puxii is probably going a little bit easy on him. I'm not even sure. This game is only about 9 minutes long. We're already 2/3 of the way through, so I'm not even sure how this ends up. Oh, here's a Merc attack. All right, this happens to be the game that I was probably thinking of in my head when I said, hey, you never wanted to play next to the edge of the board, because I did remember there was a game that I saw recently where Mercs were used exactly how they should be used, and I'm quite sure Puxii was swearing more than a few times here, and I couldn't hear what he was saying, but I'm sure he had some choice words. This is that whole Merc attack. That's absolutely ideal way to use Mercs. Mercs are not great for combat potential. They're, if you don't throw them in a front line, unless you're gonna just spend a boatload of money on them, because otherwise they're gonna retreat too quickly and they're gonna be useless. So, what you really want to use Mercs for is really carefully timed attacks and using them in really, really good places. Really perfect placement. And that's basically what happened. Lunaticman saved up a bunch of money. It looks like maybe 1,600 credits. Bought a bunch of light mercenary groups after deploying a trading post, which I believe is all the way in the upper right of the map. I see that little dot of green there. And, threw them out in exactly the right place. Just a fantastic example of why you should always try not to deploy right at the edge of the board. Never consider that a safety zone. It absolutely is not. One of these days, I hope I can redesign this game, in some particular ways. And one of the things I'd love to do is to be able to make the whole map wrap around, so it's kind of like a planet. But that's a really ambitious undertaking. I don't think that's actually going to happen. So, in lieu of that, instead of that, we have Mercs that are able to, and you can do airdrops and stuff too and get inside someone's base. But Mercs can always get on the other side of a base. So this is good. This is a really good example of how to handle things. I see a bunch of gun turrets and guard turrets in a really odd place in the lower left of Puxii's base. That was kind of weird. They do kind of block things off, but it's better to just put walls down there, because that guard turret in the middle, for instance, doesn't even have range to shoot very far past any other buildings. So it's just, he might have just been messing around. And I do actually think that he was going easy on Lunaticman here, and it just kind of bit him in the end. So anyway, thanks for watching.